Hey guys, so I am shooting this next video is then part 2 of my SCX10ii Trail Honcho conversion to an LCG car. Bear with me a second guys, I'm not in the right state of mind today. I just lost my dog over almost 15 years yesterday, so extremely depressed, but I figured working on the car will more than likely take my mind off of the situation for a few hours. But here's an update. This is what I did in regards to the rear mount. In the rear mount, I had flipped the position of the mount, the mounting bracket for the axle, the shock mounting brackets. Originally they were facing this way with the little extras on top, but since it was only secured by one point on the actual frame, it was moving up and down, so I had to flip it around and secure it in 2 different locations. I did have to move the body clip location just a little bit. The only changes I had to make on the body was just widen that hole for the body clip itself inside a little bit by a little bit, so that I just kind of made that hole that originally was there just a little bit more like an oval shape to go over inside, so it doesn't compress the body. So same thing, covers that goes here, goes into the back of the that cab here, and you clip them on from in here. Okay. After I did that though, I test rode this vehicle and just kind of going through the cage. I ended up fucking up my transmission gears. So yeah, I know. We're gonna add salt to injury, right? Lose my dog and then fuck up all my transmission gears. So this thing is, I don't know if you can hear right now, but there you see it. So basically when you turn this thing on, you can get it go, but it won't go backwards or forwards unless it hooks. So we're thinking that it's most likely going to be the pinion. So I took the opportunity to go down to the shop today and pick up a few parts. Now I'm going to go over these parts. These are going to basically be the remaining upgrades I'm going to be doing to this vehicle before it's completed. The only thing I'm not going to be doing today is actually assembling the motor, because I don't have the ESC for it yet. Okay, so I have the motor here. I'm still shopping for the ESC. I'm kind of settled on the Castle Creation the Copperhead. However, I'm now doing research and finding out Holmes Hobbies, their motors may not be compatible with that ESC. I think from what I'm reading is Holmes Hobbies are only compatible with Holmes Hobbies ESCs. So I may have to switch up the ESC I choose. That's why I haven't gotten it yet. Okay. But right here, as you can see, the EcoPower 120T. This servo is good. I recommend it for any car, budget friendly. It's like $75 servo. It has 366 ounce of torque at 6 volts, so it's not bad. It's a 7.4 high torque servo. However, because I want to convert this more into a competition crawler, I upgraded my steering servo. So the Ford Bronco has a stock steering servo still, and that broke recently, so the Bronco is going to get this servo, while the SCX10ii, the comp rig, is now going to be getting a Reefs RC 422 HD steering servo. This thing puts out, I got it right here, 360 ounces at 6 volt, 400 ounces lift, 7.4 volts, 434 ounces at 8.4 volts. So this is a pretty powerful steering servo. I think it ran about 120. So this is a $75 one. This is about $120 servo. And because I fucked up all the gears in there, I decided to go more of the hardened steel gearing. I didn't reduce it enough. Instead of a 13T, a 32P 13T pinion, I'm going to a Robinson Racing hardened steel 32P 12T. So I know I need to do more for overdrive, so eventually, once I research on how to properly set up overdrive, I will switch that out eventually. The rest of the gears inside are going to be Incision, which is a actual division of Vanquish products. So the rest of the gear products are here. So just the gears alone was approximately $40. And of course I still have my titanium steering links the panhard steering link as well to put on. So these are going to be installed today. This should probably take me a couple hours, 3 hours or so, of tinkering with my mindset, more like a day. But at least it'll take my mind off things, which is good. So far, I'm very impressed with the shock system. Everybody who's looked at it, played with it, have given me pretty good praises about it. The ride height does not change in the way I just changed the rear shock mounts again. So that ride height is actually not going to change. Everything stays the same. It was just the body clip positions moved a little bit. The front, I've determined that the fronts are actually quite nice. I think they're going to perform even better once I add some more weights to the front. It's going to kind of push it down and help it out just a smidge more. I don't know if I need to add additional weight to the bottom of the front to help with the drop down of that, but that's something in the future I'll determine. But that's pretty much it, what I'm going to be doing in this car. So once I get everything switched over, I will go ahead and shoot another video and show you what the vehicle does. Okay guys, so this is actually just a record because Twinkle Toes, I forgot to reweigh Twinkle Toes once I converted this to this LCG mod right here. Originally this car was 6 pounds 3 ounces. So after removing the roll cage, the rear roll cage, the bed, getting rid of some hefty plastic, switching them out to lighter aluminum. This is what we call running weight, so there is a battery inside there. The clips obviously are on. So let's look down at the scale, and that should show you 5 pounds, and so basically 5.5 pounds. That's pretty awesome. It's a very light car. So you can see 5.5 pounds right there. Okay, so just this little right here, this little servo, I can already feel is kind of heavier than that one. This is a heavy dude. This is a heavy ass servo. A little bit of weight to these titanium rods, and these are hardened steel, so there is a smidge of weight on these as well. We'll see how much it picks. I'm gonna hope that it gets closer to a 6 pound car, as I really don't want to have to add weights to weigh it down. However, we'll see. After all the mods and so forth, I know the motor is going to put on a significant amount of weight, and then the ESC is even bigger. So hopefully we'll get into closer to 6.5 pounds, close to 7 pounds. Okay, but yeah. Okay. All right, guys. I'm really not going to show you the taking apart process because most of you watching my channel are experienced wrenchers. But after taking apart my transmission, for those who want to find out, this is basically troubleshooting your transmission. Transmission disassembled, and right there, this is what's stripped. And the plastic gear in here, and that. So luckily, hard metal from Vanquish Products over there. Now it did one thing I realized is when I went to go buy all my gears, I forgot to buy a replacement pinion gear. So I guess I'll be going to the hobby store tomorrow to get a Robinson Racing pinion gear to match with that Robinson Racing drive shaft gear. So that's basically the broken piece that is right here that I'm replacing. Sorry, just kind of bring this around. Excuse me a second here. So, there we go. Okay. Yeah, so this piece right here, and you can see all that it's chewed the hell out of. So yeah, plastic, good old-fashioned plastic. So for those of you who do drive and wheel and get into areas that will get you kind of stuck or bound up, make sure you do spend a little bit of the money and upgrade your gears, because very important. Okay, and this one right here, let's see, this one looks to be some molding right there. So no, that looks like it's the pieces from the other one. So there's the grease. Does it make sure it has grease? Okay, I'll have my own grease there in a second. But yeah, that's pretty much what happened here. So we'll get that fixed up, cleaned out, and ready to go again. Alright, so I unfortunately had got called back to work, so I didn't have too much time to really work on the car. So the transmission is done. I haven't done the servo and the links yet, so I think I might have to save that for tomorrow, or another day to do. But all the gears are changed out. It's all metal. Instead of a 13, it's 32 pin pitch. 12T is what I did on the drive shaft gear. It sounds a little louder, that's for sure. But here, let me show you. This is the actual thing that I was messing around with yesterday that actually broke my transmission. So my car is gonna go up there, go around there, and out. But it does need a backup in that area because I have to pivot against the rock slider. And because the car got bound up there, that's where I burnt out my transmission yesterday. So let's see if we can do it. It's a lot louder, that's for sure. Okay, so there's that backup area. You back up a little bit, and then you go forward. And there we go. Okay, so here, let me just turn the camera just a smidge like this so you can see. So the floor is a little dusty, so it's not going to do the wall climb very well right now. And just because, see, I don't have grip on the right hand side right now because the floor is dusty. But yeah. So back here you can see the articulation on, the articulation on the rear. Okay. Okay, so let me show you what I did. It's a cheap little shit for you to kind of seal it. This is just taped off to the side right now, just so the wires don't run loose. I just did a test run just to make sure everything was good. So let me get you this into the light, and I'll turn this upside down so you can see what I did. I took good old-fashioned electrical tape, as you can see right here, and I added a couple of thin strips on the outside to cover that gaping hole that I had there. On the inside of it, I ran a very thin layer. It took a couple of times to get that layer to be as thin as I want it to be, of hot glue. So the seams in between the edges here can't come loose, and if the tape does come, it's still got a little tiny bit of hot glue layer in that little tiny crevice. I had to peel off a lot of that hot glue just to make sure the transmission was turning inside, but I just ran it outside. It's full functioning, car is working fine. Next thing to do is just get the servo, the links switched out. Motor, I have the ESC already selected. I just need to make sure that it is compatible. I'm looking at the Homes, not the Homes Hobby, but the Castle Creation, what is it? Damn it, can't even think about it right now. Anyways, the Copperhead 10 is the ESC that I'm looking for, the brushless system. That ESC runs about $104. I just need to wait till next week. Or my local hobby shop, their individual who can do soldering is back next week. So I'm gonna drop the motor off to get the points soldered and also get that little light here resoldered back. Sorry, it's just a skill I don't have at this moment. I will learn how to solder my own stuff in the future, but as of right now, I just don't have that skill set yet. Alright guys, it is, what is it today? It is Friday, January 7th. Yeah, sorry, it's been a little long time since I put out another video. This has been an extremely rough week for me. Sadly, I had to put down my best friend of 15 years this Tuesday, as I mentioned earlier, part of this video. But I finally worked up enough energy to want to tinker with the car. So the body clips are here. I'm just going to put them right over here. Alright, so body's going to come right off. Let's take a closer look at everything that has been put into this car. Like I mentioned before, the shock bounce position now is now mounted with a 2-prong position and this sticking out. So the height, everything is still in the same position. Only thing that changed was the position of the body clip mount. So because that changed, I did have to modify the holes on the actual Lexan battery, just so it fits. Okay, both pieces are good. I do need to Dremel that flat. That one flat as well because it's scratching the side of my shocks. All right, so now we are going to get into the electronics. So look at that, Reefs RC 422 HD. Let's take a look at the specs of this servo. Okay, it's a high torque digital cordless servo, of course. Look at that, dude. Torque 360 ounces at 6 volts, or 400 ounces at 7.4 volts, or 434 ounces at 8.4. I mean, this is a pretty beast of a receiver. It's probably one of the most expensive receivers I've actually bought since getting into RCs 2 years ago. This was around 105, I think, 110. This is what I was running in the car before. So most of my cars run EcoPower 120T waterproof 7.4 high volt. This isn't that much. I looked at the specs and I thought the specs were kind of cheap on this, but I had to get a Reefs 422 HD V2 to actually have better specs than this. Any of the other models are actually lower specs than the EcoPower. So with that being said, an EcoPower is a pretty badass steering servo, waterproof, and this thing only costs 70 bucks. So it is definitely a good bargain steering servo, waterproof. I highly recommend them. They have been wonderful in all of my rigs, actually. I've only burnt one out before, and that was because I was a total fucking idiot and I bound the vehicle up in a way that, well, only a fucking idiot can do. So that's how I burnt that one out. But other than that, every one of these servos have been phenomenal. So if you're looking to get a steering servo, you want something that's better than the $15 stock steering servo that they come with, but you don't want to spend $100+ on a servo, middle. EcoPower W120T waterproof, the 7.4 high volt. Definitely worth it. 70 bucks. All right, so last but not least, the steering links are now in. So no more plastic steering links. Okay. The rear light, remember I was telling you earlier in the video, because I fucked up the wirings, so the rear lights aren't there yet. This vehicle is going to my local body shop on Monday to get my motor, the points, soldered. Sadly, I don't know how to solder yet. So the motor is going to get soldered. The ESC I'm buying from the hobby shop, which they have, is the Copperhead 10. And then I'm going to have them solder this wire right back for me. And this vehicle will then be a fully upgraded car. In a future build or a future video, I will show you the cost of everything that went into this vehicle. It was supposed to be a budget truck, but it's now going to be my second most expensive rig. And the reason being is that this rig runs mostly branded stuff. Trio, Yeah Racing, Hot Racing, Reefs RC, Robinson Racing, Vanquish products. Yeah, so we're basically talking about high-end products here. I have 3 products on this car. That is no name brand, is no brand. The shock mounts, I've got the whatever shitty name brand this one is, but the aluminum side rock sliders, and then these aluminum suspension links. Okay, so these are the only ones that really aren't branded, but transmission gears, you know, we got Vanquish products and Robinson Racing, that SSD, links, Reefs RC. So yeah, in trios, Hot Racing, Yeah Racing. So definitely mostly branded products on this car. So it is with the ESC that I will be purchasing, it will put this car right around the 1100 range. That includes the RTR package. So when I bought this car, it was RTR, and I included that in that into that kit. So the breakdown will show you what each part costs, so that if you do want to do a kit build, you kind of know how much it'll cost if you get the kit versus if you were to get everything else. The axles and stuff like that, you can choose and price them out depending on if you want to go metal or if you want to go plastic. But you know, I think one other thing that I might do, and I'm still debating whether or not, is to change these drive shafts into metal. And only because I've had them get bumped off and they're a little flexible, so that when they are on a high ledge, it could get flexed to the point where it bumps off. But this car, I'm gonna go test it out in the backyard and run it and see how it goes. Let's go this one. Flatten the hole here and try to shape it as much as I can. Let's see if it works. There we go. Okay, that works. Well, that's kind of cool. I didn't have to back up there anymore. There used to be one backup spot right there. Oh, I already heard the bottom drag. No, I lied. Maybe not. Yeah, maybe it was something else that was squeaking. There it is. That's dragging right there. Okay. You know, I'm actually quite happy with it. This vehicle is running pretty sturdy right now, so yeah, cool.